What's Greg Lag? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And we're back again once again, this time taking a look at my final draft grades for each draft class in the 2021 NFL draft. This does not include undrafted free agents. Gets a little too hectic after that. But we're going to go team by team. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. How did your team do this draft season? And as always, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. It helps the video out a ton. So go ahead, do that. We will have a 2022 NFL mock draft coming out next week. Well, not next week. Tomorrow, mañana, as well as rankings for those should be in the following weeks as soon as I start, getting together some of the prospects for that class. But let's go ahead. Let's dive in. And we're going to start with Arizona. I gave them an A. I think they did pretty solid. Zaven Collins, I was a bit unsure of, just because it's weird how are they going to utilize Collins and Simmons. I know they got a hybrid front, but I found it intriguing. Rondale Moore, I love the value that they got him at, but I really enjoyed what they did with trading up for Marco Wilson, coming back up, getting Tay Gowan, who I had higher than Wilson. That's really addressing the corner position. You got to hope one of those two guys work out. Dimikiji, it was a bit high for my taste, but overall, I really like this class. On to Atlanta. Let's take a look at how they did. I gave them an A, man. Easy A for me. Richie Grant, Kyle Pitts. Mayfield, I feel multiple ways about, but sounds like he's going to be a guard. Darren Hall may have been a bit early, but I do like, he brings a little versatility, and I think Drew Dahlman was early for me. Like I said, I kind of felt he was like a value brand Drake Jackson, who didn't even get drafted. I think more so some of the day three options I didn't love. Probably, I think my favorite is Frank Darby. Just adding him. He has some experience in the slot. He could come do that. Or, he's a great return man. Overall, I thought it was a very good class. I'm going to be pretty I'm gonna be sure, man. I like a lot of these classes. There's not going to be many bad grades here, but there are some. On to Baltimore Ravens. I gave them a B+. I really enjoyed their first two picks. Owe and Bateman, man. I thought those were really solid. That was an easy A+ on the day. I loved Ben Cleveland. Brandon Stevens, I had as a 7th rounder just because he's exceptionally raw, especially if they're going to keep him at corner. I thought it felt like a reach, but he was a guy that gained a lot of traction in a short amount of time. So, man, maybe he was that high on a lot of people's boards. And I really didn't get to him or get to actually evaluate him till a week before the draft. So I was real late on him. Not going to be early on everybody. Tylan Wallace, excellent pick, great value. Sean Wade was great value in the 5th. Ben Mason and Hayes, they're kind of whatever. Overall, though, I thought it was a pretty darn good class. This is borderline A-. It's probably what it should be. I'm going to stick with the B+ for now, though. Buffalo Bills, though, they got a B for me, man. Gregory Rousseau was a bit of a head-scratcher. Not really. It became more of a head-scratcher when they went Carlos Basham, because I had Basham as a higher prospect. I get the freaky length, but these are guys that can move to the interior as well. So I guess it really depends how they plan on using them. Spencer Brown was nice. He was a guy gaining a little bit of hype. I had a 4th round grade on him, but they got him late in the 3rd, so that's good value. Tommy Doyle went a round higher than I would have taken him. Stevenson, I thought was maybe a fringe 7th rounder, if that. But they got good value at the end of the draft with Wild Goose and Anderson. Overall, I really just end up questioning at the top of the class because that's what holds the most weight in these draft grades. And Russo and Basham, just the combination of the two, it really left me wondering. And then addressing, I know offensive line depth's huge, but Brown, he's going to end up being a tackle, but he's not ready to. I don't think he's ready to start in the NFL year one. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see nonetheless. Carolina Panthers, they got an A for me. I loved their draft. Keith Taylor may have been early for me. I know some people were high on him, but J.C. Horn, I love addressing the corner position. It's the most valuable position on defense. Could have went Fields, but I mean they like the next day they gave Sam Darnold the 5th-year option. Trading down twice, still being able to get Terrace Marshall, wonderful. Brady Christensen might be a guard, might be a tackle. They could have went tackle earlier, but it is what it is. I wish they did address the offensive line a bit earlier, but getting Deontay Brown in the 6th round was very good value. Davion Nixon in the 5th was really good value too, but again, he's another developmental guy. And Tommy Tremble is just fun. Overall, I really, really liked this class. And then the Chicago Bears got an A+ for me. They got their quarterback of the future traded up for him. Justin Fields, phenomenal. Jenkins traded up for him as well. Bam, you got a plug-and-play right tackle. Larry Borum probably ends up being a guard. But Khalil Herbert was great value there in the 6th. Daz Newsome, he's a slot guy, is what it is. But Thomas Graham, he could be, I think, a day 1 starter in the slot. Tonga is going to be a good rotation player, especially on passing downs. Overall, like this was a good draft for Nagy and Pace. So will it be enough to keep their jobs by the end of the year? The Cincinnati Bengals were an A for me, man. Jamar Chase, whether they went Sewell or Chase, it was an A+. I actually like Jackson Carman. Some people think it was a high for him. I don't. I think he's got good upside. At worst case scenario, you're getting a very good guard. Joseph Asai brings some pass rush. Cameron Sample brings a bit of versatility. Tyler Shelvin, now you can challenge with a very good nose tackle there. I like it. Who do they currently got at nose tackle, actually? Because I wanted to say Andrew Billings, but he's with the Browns. Oh, they got DJ Reader. This is interesting. I guess we'll see what they do with Tyler Shelvin, but he 4th was about where I had him. Deontay Smith could be a good guard. Maybe he ends up at tackle, but I think he's a good guard. Trey Hill, I think that's great. I think they addressed the offensive line pretty darn well despite not going with it in the 1st round. And Chris Evans was a really good late round get. So good on y'all, Bengals. And then the Cleveland Browns got an A+ for me. Greg Newsome was good value. I thought he could have been top 20. They got him at 26. JOK ended up falling to, pick 52, I think? Ridiculous. They trade up, grab him. Anthony Schwartz, he go fast. I mean, I guess you take a chance on a guy like that late in the 3rd. But James Hudson, man, he is going to be a good developmental prospect that maybe somewhere down the future ends up being a starting tackle. Togiai, good depth on the interior. Tony Fields is kind of like a poor man's JOK. LeCount is kind of, it is what it is. Great value on Felton. But mainly where I want to highlight is not that. But from Togiai, Hudson, JOK, Newsome, that is the class right there. That is great value. And then the Cowboys, I gave them a C+, man. I thought the trade down and grabbing Micah Parsons, masterful. Day 2 was not as good for me, at least. Kelvin Joseph, I thought that was a bit early on him, but I understand why they wanted to go corner. I loved Osa Odigizua. Chauncey Golston going before Cam Sample, I really hated that. I thought Chauncey Golston was a kind of a value brand. Well, Cam Sample, and you had Cam Sample available. Noshawn Wright was a fringe 7th rounder, and they took him at the end of the 3rd. I thought that was bad. But Jarrell Cox was great value at in the 4th round. Josh Ball, I thought could have probably went undrafted. Instead, they take him here. He had the domestic abuse charge years ago. I mean, people can change, man, but it is still something you're concerned about. Simi Fehoko was good value. So was Bohanna. I mean, it was probably about right for him. But overall, like, it's just me trying to pump up day 3. Like, there were some good picks day 3, but it could have got so much better on day 2, and it just wasn't. And then the Denver Broncos. Patrick Surtain, while Justin Fields was still on the board, I'm not a fan of, unfortunately. I love Surtain. I don't love that. They should have went Fields. Should have went quarterback. They traded up for Javonte Williams, where some people will like that. I don't. I'm not a fan of running back value. Or I'm a believer in, you get run backs later on that fit your system and scheme. But it is what it is. So the first 2 picks I'm kind of about. And I mean, they traded up for Williams, man. Because I guess they wanted to trade in front of the Dolphins because they were scared they might get him. But, that was the thing. It's okay, trade up, go get your guy. But, you could find good scheme fits at running back. You got Melvin Gordon there. I know he's on the last year of his deal. But, yeah. Quentin Miners, though, and Baron Brown were good gets there at the end of the 3rd round. Caden Stearns, I thought, was a bit interesting. I really think he could end up playing corner. But, maybe he ends up being the box safety. Jamar Johnson, though, that could be a big hit, man. What we saw on tape on the limited sample size was really good. Seth Williams is a good depth at receiver. I mean, Kerry Vincent, man, he's gonna be a good dime package. Corner. Cooper, it was fine. I mean, overall, I just question these first 2 picks so much that it really hurts the grade for me. So B+. The Lions, they're going to get an A from me. I loved this draft. I thought this was a good, hey, this is our first year. Let's try to get some good prospects, and they did that. They addressed the trenches. I understand the Levi Onwuzurike pick. I get it. I understand. They didn't think he was going to be there in the 3rd round. Aleem McNeil, they knew was going to be there. I love that. You got 2 quality starters there on the interior. Fatu Melifonwu could be a big payoff in the secondary. And addressing, man, I like the idea of this, because both Onwuzurike and McNeil have good pass rush potential from the interior. So you're addressing pass rush. You're addressing coverage with Melifonwu. Then they go in, they get a good, probably Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be a slot for them. Unless if he wants to get early time, he's going to end up being a slot. But Derek Brown could be a James Collins replacement. Jamar Jefferson, it's good value. I had a 5th round grade on him, but they were kind of set at running back. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this draft class. And then the Green Bay Packers, man. The Packers think I'm they think I'm a Packer hater. No, I just hate your draft. I gave it a C+, man. Eric Stokes, probably a bit early. You should have traded back. In my opinion, I think there were better picks on the board. And I'm not too confident about the scheme fit either. Josh Myers going ahead of Creed Humphrey was bad. It was just bad. I had Myers as maybe a fringe 3rd rounder, and then you go with a higher prospect at the same position. They traded up for Amari Rodgers, who was I had a 5th round grade on. I just thought there were a lot of other slot guys in the draft that did similar things. But yeah, they traded up for him, and I get the whole Randall Cobb connection and stuff, but still, I didn't love their first 2 days. Royce Newman was solid, but I had a 6th round grade on him. Slayton, I had a 7th round grade on. He's just big. He hasn't played a lot of snaps. I like John Charles though. So I don't know if he challenges Sullivan. McDuffie's a good special team player, at the very least, he's gonna be a very good special team player. Maybe Kylan Hill's good value. I had a 5th round grade on him. Maybe he's the Jamal Williams replacement. Not that you really needed it. You're kind of set at running back already, but at the end of the day, I liked the draft. I liked aspects of it. I understood what y'all were trying to do. I just thought you missed the mark. C+. And then the Texans, I'm gonna give it a B-. You did the best they did the best they could. I thought Mills, Collins were good third round picks. I mean, you're in a rebuild and you're starting and your first pick isn't until the third round. That's kind of rough. But Reverend Jordan, finally a little juice at tight end. Garrett Wallow, I think could be a very good linebacker in this league. He's got coverage skills. I'm a big fan. So I give it a B-. That's about as high as I could give it. And then the Indianapolis Colts, I ended up giving a B- as well. I don't love the Deo Oga pick. I don't understand it. Some people are like, he could have been a first rounder, and they don't get the context. If he didn't get hurt, you're right. If he didn't get hurt and went on to perform well in the Senior Bowl, he maybe could have been a fringe first rounder. They forget that adage. They act like, oh, if he didn't get hurt, bam, he was in the first round. No, he needed to have a very good Senior Bowl. Not to say that he wouldn't have, but he needed to have a very good Senior Bowl. It wasn't just because he got hurt. I think he would have been guaranteed a day 2 guy regardless. So this is still good value, but I mean, what are you doing by drafting 2 edges? I kind of asked the same thing with the Bills. Kylan Granson is oversized slot, undersized tight end. So getting him in the 4th round was a bit of a reach for me. Sean Davis, I get it. He's a good box. He should contribute. Sam Ehlinger, yeah. But I did love the 7th round picks. I liked them a lot. I don't know if they make the roster. They might at the very least make the practice squad, but I think I thought pretty well of it. Overall, I still think they got good talent between Pay and Odeyingbo. It's just, I don't think it addressed an edge twice. I don't think it's nearly as good as people like. I don't think it's nearly as good as some people make it out to believe. But like, no lie, if like thinking back on it, like they did need a ton of edge help. You don't go tackle till the 7th round. That's it, though. That's the thing. Like, you can't be content with Sam Levy being your left tackle, man. You can't be content with that. Jacksonville Jaguars, they get in an A for me. Trevor Lawrence, basically, that could have been the only thing they drafted in this class. Probably would have been an A+. But they had a whole lot of boom bust picks. Like, I love ETN. But, I mean, where does he really fit into that backfield? I mean, they could get real creative with him. But Andre Sisco, Walker Little, Tyson Campbell, Jay Tufele, Jordan Smith, Luke Farrell, and Jalen Camp, they're all so boomer bust prospects. It's just, I mean, hey, dude, you got to be willing to bet like 2 or 3 of these guys work out. But there's that possibility it doesn't. Regardless, they got their quarterback of the future. It's an A grade. Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't do anything too impressive. I just think they got they got either adequate or very good value with their picks. Nick Bolton is a very solid pick. I don't think he's got a high ceiling. Same with Creed Humphrey. I think he's a solid pick, whether it's center or guard he ends up playing. But I don't think he's anything special either. Joshua Kando, he's what Spag likes. He big, he athletic. Noah Gray never really played in line. So it's like they got a big slot. Like I had a 7th round grade on him. Cornell Powell, though, I like. They get a big wide receiver there. Trey Smith was amazing value. I had a 3rd round grade on him. He falls here. So it's like, outside of Trey Smith, they made a lot of picks that I was like, yeah, it's all right. So I ended up giving it a B. The Chargers, they got an A for me, dude. Rashawn Slater, wonderful. Fell all according to plan. Sonny Samuel Jr., he ended up falling right to him. They didn't even have to trade up. Not necessarily according to plan, but great value. Josh Palmer, I thought was a very good pick. Some people may not like the Trey McKitty pick, but he's a solid blocker with a lot of red zone potential. They could use some of that at tight end. Chris Rumpf, I thought was a very good pick in the 4th. Brennan Jameis was a solid pick, but then, I mean, Nick was a Nyman. I didn't have a draftable grade on him. Same with Mark Webb. Like, day 3 was just kind of, oh, that's neat. And then, okay, whatever. Plus, the McKinney pick may have been a bit early. I had a 5th round grade on him, but I understand why they went that route. Overall, it was a very good class. I gave it an A. The other LA team, though, not so much. I gave the sucker a C minus, man. I think it was my lowest grade in draft class. Yeah, I didn't like it. Tutu Atwell, I don't think he translates, man. I'm sorry. He's not like Rondale Moore. He's not. He just isn't. He's someone that needs to be schemed desperately. Ernest Jones, I thought could have probably went around later. I do like, though, how they started day 3, though. Bobby Brown, Robert Rochelle, very good. Jacob Harris is a bit of a high upside guy. Ernest Brown is like an adequate depth guy. And I mean, for the rest of the draft, it's kind of whatever. They're just 7th rounders. But yeah, outside of probably like Brown and Rochelle, I really hated this draft. Didn't even address the offensive line. Not one bit. That's sus. And then the Raiders, I gave it a C+. They made one brilliant move here. The trade up for Trevon Merrick was amazing. But then they followed that up in the 3rd with Malcolm Koonce, who had a 6th round grade on. Some people were getting a little bit higher on him. Obviously, there's Alex Leatherwood in the 1st round. But Tom Cable, he said it was this guy. He really wanted him. So, okay, good on you. I wish they would have addressed the offensive line at some other point in this draft. I mean, you can make a case for Jimmy Morrissey, but he feels like a career-long backup at center. That's just a fact. That's just the meat and potatoes. So while I'm not in love with some of the stuff they did in this draft, I don't think it's a complete miss of a draft. I gave it an average grade of C+. Then, actually, I got to travel back here to the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what the Dolphins were doing. For me, this draft felt very much similar to last year's, where I was like, those are interesting picks. Okay, but, like, are they good? Like, I didn't have a lot of confidence last year in our picks. And I kind of feel the same way after day 2. Jalen Waddle over Sewell. It might haunt some people, but Waddle's a great prospect. Jalen Phillips, yes, the concussion concerns, but if he didn't have those, he's a top 15 prospect. Javon Holland may have been a bit early, but there's no way he can play slot, right? He has to be a safety. He has to be a free. So, yeah, that just makes me worried because when I think Holland, I think of a slot player. Eichenberg, he's not. We don't have a true tackle. Eichenberg, I think like the length is less than favorable, but like I think he could be a really good guard in the league. But they just moved Robert Hunt to guard. Like, I don't know. And then Hunter Long, it's kind of like, is what it is. Is what it is. For Tua, he is a guy with a huge catch radius, big target, big catch radius. I gave it a B. It was like it was a good draft, but like, I don't know, nothing to write home about. You know what I'm saying? Minnesota Vikings, I gave an A-, dude. Masterful. Getting Christian Darrisaw at 23, amazing. Wyatt Davis in the 3rd round, great. Kellen Mond, the trader for Kellen Mond, and I had a 5th round grade on Mond. Like, I liked a lot because I think he's a good fit for the system, and no longer can you be out leveraged by Kirk Cousins and forced to pay him. I like that. There are a lot of questionable picks, though, like Patrick Jones in the 3rd, not a fan. I had a 6th round grade on him. Twyman, much better in the 6th, but still, like, he's not anything different than what you already have at DT, at least at nose. Zach Davison's pretty interesting, though. I kind of like that. Same with the Amir Smith Marset, Cameron Bynum, I think, is a good scheme fit. But even Chaz Surratt, I'm just like, But I like a lot of what they did in this class, man. I like a lot of what they did. New England Patriots got an A+. They didn't have to trade up for Mac Jones. Your winners in my book. Instead, they used that draft capital to trade up for Christian Barmore, which they were very thin on the interior. Ronnie Perkins is also a good addition. Got late in the third. I love Ramondre Stevens. It'd be interesting to see how they plan for him to fit in the backfield there. And then Cameron McGrone just feels like a steal here late in the fifth. Just love it. I like the Will Sherman pick a lot, too. I think he's going to be a good swing tackle. But yeah, overall, it was just a really good draft by the Patriots. The Saints, though, I gave them a nice average grade of C+. Peyton Turner was a pick. I love Peyton Turner, the prospect. This pick felt too early for me, though. I think they should have tried to trade back. I mean, I get it. If they couldn't trade back, go ahead, take your guy. I'm not going to argue with that. But Pete Werner, I thought it was dirty that they sent DeMario Davis out there to announce the pick, and it probably ends up to be the guy that's going to replace him down the stretch. But Pete Werner, he's solid, but I don't think he's a second rounder. Paulson Adebo, I'm willing to give him more of the benefit of the doubt. I had a fourth round grade on him, but I understand why teams like him so much. And the dude was shut down at Stanford. Ian Book sucked. Like Ian Book doesn't suck. Don't get me wrong. He's not a fourth rounder. I think I had a seventh at best on him. And you took him here in the fourth. Just burn your fourth round pick. Just burn it. Such a bad call. This just doesn't feel like it's a hit draft for the Saints, unfortunately. So I gave it the C+. But the New York Football Giants, I love the trade down, getting an extra first pick for 2022. They got Kadarius Toney, who's just a monster after the catch. Azeez Ojulari, man, they trade back and they get Azeez at 50. Insanely great value. And then after that, I just question about a bit of what they did here. Aaron Robinson and Rondarius Williams, I don't think were necessary. I thought they had a good secondary going into this year after the Adoree Jackson signing. But Aaron Robinson, I mean, he could play slot. All I see him is a slot, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see. Ellerson Smith role in the defense will be hopefully fun to watch. We'll see. In terms of fourth, third rounder, I feel like they could have done a little bit better. So that's why I gave them a B+ in that. And it was just kind of it's a good draft. Could have been a better draft. At least that's how I interpret it. Then the New York Jets, I gave it an A+. They got their franchise quarterback, Zach Wilson. I hated the trade up for Elijah Vera Tucker, but if that's your guy, go after it. Get it. Elijah Moore was a fabulous pick at the beginning of the second round. Michael Carter, a good pick there at the beginning of the fourth. I think he's an extremely good scheme fit. Jamie and Sherwood was also another good fit in the fifth round. I like the Jason Pinnock, Hamsaw Nasir-Ildeen, and Jonathan Marshall were all great values. Don't love the Michael Carter II, the Duke slot corner so much. I thought that was a pretty darn big reach. But they surrounded their boy with talent. Look at that. They got a guard. They got a wide receiver, running back. They surrounded him with talent. I can't complain. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, I ended up warming up to this. I gave it an A+, man. Devontae Smith, the trade up, I wasn't sold on it initially, but now I really, really like it. Landon Dickerson, I'm liking a little bit more. It's not a sexy pick, but it's a good pick. And then grabbing Milton Williams, they could do so much with him. Marlon Tuipulotu, I had a fourth round grade on, falls to the sixth. Kenneth Gainwell is just a crazy weapon that I had a fourth round grade on. Zach McPherson feels a bit early, but I think he could be a very good slot right away. Jacoby Stevens was good value. Patrick Johnson was insane value. I had early fourth round grade on him, and here he is in the back early seventh. Great value, great draft. Pittsburgh Steelers, I gave them a B-. I'm never going to love taking running back in the first round. Sorry, I'm just not. Then they take Pat Freiermuth, and I understand that's kind of a pick for the culture. He's a culture guy. But I like this draft a bit more when they go Kendrick Green. It's like, okay, he's probably their center. I love it. Dan Moore was a terrible pick. I'm sorry, guys. Isaiah Loudermilk, too, I didn't see getting drafted. So, bit questionable picks there. But Buddy Johnson, he's a solid pick. Quincy Roche's great value, though. I think I pegged him as a 5th. He goes late 6th, almost 7th round. So, yeah, I like some aspects. Like, putting it all together, like the Green, Freiermuth, Najee picks, it feels good in a nebulous, together. Like, Freiermuth, he is one of the best blocking tight ends in this class. Kendrick Green, he fills the need at center. They get a higher end talent at running back. Like, there's some things to like there. And then the Seattle Seahawks, I gave it a C. I thought they would trade down, but they never did. They never acquired more picks. But I think, especially in the 4th and 6th round, that they got great value. But Dwayne Eskridge, I had a 5th round grade on. As a matter of fact, the guys they picked up as undrafted free agents, Kay Johnson, Tamari and Terry, I had higher grades on. So for me, I feel like they kind of just like threw that 2nd round pick to the garbage. Trey Brown, I like it. He's frisky. I had a 3rd round grade on. And Stone Forsythe, I had a 4th round grade on. And I think he could be, honestly, a day 1 starter if they need him to be. And then San Francisco 49ers. They're going B+. They got their franchise quarterback. I ain't going to dispute it. That's a good pick. Aaron Banks, though, may have been one of the worst value picks in this class. Unfortunately, I had a 5th round grade on him. Here he is in the middle of the 2nd. It was kind of wild. Trey Sermon, I'm okay with, but I'm less okay when they pick up Elijah Mitchell. It's like, okay, who's like, these guys aren't going to affect the passing game in any way. So, I don't know. I didn't love it. Aubrey Thomas, to me, was more of a 6th, 7th rounder. I just don't think he's a better prospect than Lavert Hill, who went in those rounds. Jalen Moore, though, if developed, could be a monster. I like the idea of Funga at linebacker. But overall, like, you got your franchise quarterback. You added guys that fit the system. I can't hate on it too much. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I gave a B+. Mr. Irrelevant, Grant Stewart over there, he's irrelevant. It's really what they did with their first 4 picks here. Joe Tryon, I get it, it's upside. Still felt like a reach to me. Kyle Trask, that was about the right value for him, and he's not going to have to start for the next 10 years because of Tom Brady. Robert Hainsey, I think, gives great versatility on that defense. They don't need him to start now, but he could fill in at any spot on the defensive line. Jalen Darden, vertical threat. I know they brought AB back, but screw it, they don't need him. I'm giving it a B+. I could care less about the rest of the draft. Tennessee Titans, I gave a B+ as well. Caleb Farley feels a bit risque, but I get it. Farley, he's like top 15 value. Here at 22, that's great. Dylan Radins. I'm sorry, Kendall Lamb, you're a bench player. They get an actual starter here. Monty Rice, low-key, I really like this pick a lot as a replacement for whether it's Jayon Brown, who's a free agent at the end of the season, or Rashad Evans, who's not that good. Elijah Molden, like I said, dude, this secondary, they pumped this secondary full, or at least the corner position, full of life with their with their day 1 and day 2 picks. I love it. I thought they went out and got bad receivers and later in the draft. Like, Racey McMath was one of my lowest evals. Dez Fitzpatrick was right up the alley there. I'm not loving it. Rashad Weaver's great value, though. Overall, B+, because, yes, Farley's risky, and they kind of like blew their day 3. I think Weaver's really the only guy that'll come out of here as a solid player. And then the Washington football team, last but not least, I gave y'all an A. I think Jamin Davis, a bit early, but I get it. They love him because he's long and he's fast. Samuel Cosme was great value there in the 2nd. Benjamin St. Jude's probably got picked 10 picks before than he should have. De'Ami Brown, though, being left there at the end, like middle to the end of the third, utterly criminal. They came out with a fleecing. It's a good draft, man. It's a good draft. John Bates is an alright pick in the fourth, but Derek Forrest I loved absolutely. I don't know if he ends up being a starter, but he's got some real potential. And I liked what they did in the seventh round, ironically. Like, William Bradley King was a guy I was pretty darn high on. Shaka Tony, not so much, but I get why some people like Shaka. Then Dax Millen, man, they get a good possession receiver right here in the seventh. That's great value. I really think outside of, drafting a quarterback, which apparently they feel like they could do next year, I would have given it an A+ if they got a quarterback. Is what it is. Overall, they got incredible talent at all spots. But you let me know what you think in the comment section below. And that's it for the video. Go ahead and do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.